Hi. Today in this session, we're going to showcase some of the latest updates to the solvent Botworx environment, specifically having to do with automations that act as assistants, that is, that act as sidekicks within the workspace. Um, we'll start with the demo and then I'll get into some of the configuration specifics. The two automations that we're going to show are the highlighted ones, Billy and Vernon. Billy plays the role of a business analyst and Vernon a security analyst. Um, so we'll just run the uh, the demos, and then I'll get into the details of what they're actually doing. The idea here is that these can work in the background and then interact with you on the front end as a human in the loop. So you can create automations that can perform background tasks and pull you in when they need support from you. Right, so we have notifications enabled, which is how we're able to hear back from the automations that are running in the background. Let's go to experiments. We'll run Vernon first. Okay, so that side panel there, that's Vernon running in the background, and then waking up and essentially, coming back to the front end. If you open this up, you'll see that there's stuff going on. You could be working on something else, right? So the idea is that this is a background task, and Vernon will let you know when it's ready. You could be on a different tab.
Edmund, this is Vernon, Security Analyst. I have a request from WorldSpace Motors to update firewall settings. The request is to disable HTTP post requests on /login and block all IP addresses from Cicata. Do you want me to apply these settings?
Okay, so Vernon just activated, and hopefully you hear it. There are two instances of Vernon set up, I believe. So you're going to see it invoke again, basically with a 60 seconds interval between them. It's all configurable, so after I show the demo, I'll show you how you can change that in controller.
Edmund, this is Vernon, Security Analyst. I have a request from WorldSpace Motors to update firewall settings. Should I apply the changes?
Alright, so we heard Vernon. We can now come back. So here are two instances of Vernon waking up and notifying us after he read email saying that there's work to do and need our assistance. Vernon is using some front-end tooling here. This is a Q&A tool that allows you to engage in interactive question and answer with the AI. It can generate on the fly a UI, basically a form that you can then fill in to answer questions back to the bot. This one is a fairly simple use of it, so it just has a question. If I check this and return, it'll acknowledge that I've responded to it, but that's not really what we want to do. What we want to do is actually provide some information to Vernon for how to proceed. So Vernon is fairly limited. It's he doesn't have access to any special tools to perform this task. So the idea here is that we can either provide information or expose the appropriate tool to it. There is the ability to do that at this point. For this demo, I'm just going to respond to Vernon and tell him to, to table this and wait for me for some other time. So, conversations have worked. When you have a shared session, you have stuff going on. They're basically threads of conversations off of the main session. So each one of these invocations represents a separate thread. That's what the fork symbol there indicate. And if you're going to respond to a thread, you have to essentially merge into that thread, and then you can respond to it. We can just submit this and let Vernon do what it needs to do, but I'm going to use speech to provide some extra information. Hey, Vernon, please table this for now. I am out of office. Remind me later. Okay, so we recorded response in speech, and I'm going to submit it. Again, as that's going on, you can continue doing your work. It's meant to be a background task, not something that will, completely prevent you from doing other things.
Understood, Edmund. I will table the request to update the firewall and remind you later. I will now archive the email.
Okay. The kind of response you get back is all dependent on how you built the automation, what kind of persona you gave it, the instructions for how it should engage with you. I'm sure once Vernon finishes archiving the email, he'll let me know that he's done with that as well. So you can make it be as communicative as possible, or to just do what it needs to do without bugging you.
The email has been archived.
Okay, so Vernon is done with that first invocation. As you can see, the second one is still here. We can now respond to this. You can resume these invocations. So maybe you didn't respond to it today. You come back next day, you can pick it up from here and resume it. Let's see. I think that's the one that we just responded.